Not all firearms are created equal, especially when your goal is stopping a threat inside your home. Some offer sheer firepower, others give you pinpoint control, and a few do both without breaking the bank. But which ones are actually worth betting your life on? In this video, we'll talk about what we believe are 8 of the most lethal home defense firearms on the market that actually bring real-world utility, not hype. From compact 9mm pistols like the Springfield Echelon and SIG P365 AXG Legion, to powerhouses like the FN 510 in 10mm and the iconic Benelli M4 in 12-gauge, we're covering every corner of the spectrum. We'll also look at a one-of-a-kind AR-style weapon that sidesteps the usual NFA red tape for SBRs without sacrificing firepower. Maybe you're after affordability, modularity, superb stopping power, or maybe you want something with that sweet balance of maneuverability and control. Stick around. There's something here that'll match your setup and skill level. Springfield Echelon. If you don't want to spend too much on a full-size pistol, but you still want reliability and tactical features, don't get a Glock 17. Get a Springfield Echelon. This pistol was created with input from top-level shooters who needed a duty gun that wouldn't give up in tough conditions. The central operating group is the key to its adaptability because it lets you swap grip modules to find the right fit. It's comparable to the SIG P320's FCU, but for some reason, the Echelon feels more streamlined in the hand. It's got a specialized optic mounting setup that uses direct attachment instead of plates. This approach cuts down on potential failures. As far as ammo capacity, it holds 17 + 1 rounds, which puts it on par with many other full-size 9mm pistols. The size helps handle recoil better than a smaller gun, and the trigger does not feel heavy thanks to good ergonomics. Ambidextrous controls, forward serrations, and a full rail for lights or lasers add even more convenience for home defense. Compared to the SIG P365 AXG Legion, which we'll talk about next, the Echelon comes in cheaper and slightly lighter. Even though it's modestly priced at just $679, this model runs with premium ammo of all types without many complaints, so it can hold its own in a serious situation. SIG P365 AXG Legion. SIG shook things up with the P365X Macro, and this AXG Legion version brings it to a higher level of performance. It's only slightly bigger than the original P365, but it offers 17 + 1 capacity, nudging it into territory normally occupied by full-size pistols. The P365 AXG Legion is essentially an X Macro that uses an aluminum frame instead of polymer, which adds cost, about $1,199. But it helps soak up recoil a bit more than Springfield's Echelon. That heft might matter if you want stability in rapid-fire home defense situations. An integrated compensator built into the slide reduces muzzle flip, which can come in handy when you have just seconds to react in the dark. It's also set up to accept optics using the RMSC footprint, and a rail under the dust cover allows for lights or lasers. Some folks prefer these features for defense, where quick target identification and follow-up shots can be crucial. The AXG Legion keeps the comfortable grip shape that made earlier P365 models famous, but improves it with extras like G10 grips and a flared mag well. The flat-faced trigger breaks near 5.5 pounds, offering a clean release. Although the Echelon is cheaper, this model's enhanced ergonomics and lighter recoil feel can persuade people to pay more. The AXG Legion's manageable dimensions make it good for everyday carry, but it also holds up well if you keep it on the nightstand. Shooters who appreciate a metal frame that tames muzzle rise may see this as a better fit than the lighter Springfield. Either way, it delivers strong performance for those who favor 9mm in a compact but high-capacity package. Staccato HD P4.5. Staccato set the 2011 standard with double-stack designs aimed at competition and duty use. This HD P4.5 is built for those who want something beyond a typical striker-fired pistol. It costs more than the Echelon and the P365 AXG Legion combined, $2,699. But it's in a different league. The P4.5 model features a sight block, that places the front sight on a fixed section of the barrel rather than on the moving slide. That difference makes staying on target easier in stressful conditions because the sight picture doesn't jerk around as much during recoil. It's chambered in 9mm, just like the Echelon and the Legion, but it holds 18+1 rounds in a steel magazine, giving it a slight capacity edge. The aluminum-framed SIG Legion feels good in the hand, but this steel-frame Staccato offers an even sturdier platform at around 32 ounces. The added weight helps limit muzzle flip, which can translate to quicker follow-up shots. The direct optics mounting system keeps red dots close to the bore, and the rear sight is placed forward of the optic cut, allowing easier co-witness if needed. The trigger is a crisp 4 to 4.5 pounds, and 2011 triggers are known for short resets and smooth breaks. That combination lends itself to rapid, precise shooting, especially for defense at close or moderate ranges. This pistol is a premium buy, but many consider it a step above polymer guns when it comes to refinement and control. If cost is no obstacle, the P45 can outperform the Echelon and P365 AXG Legion in raw shooting feel, though it's heavier and bigger than either. Shooters who prize an elite-level experience often end up leaning toward the Staccato name for that final edge in accuracy and reliability. FNX 45 Tactical. People who aren't sold on 9mm sometimes pick a pistol in 45 ACP, and if you're one of those, the FNX 45 Tactical is probably the best production-class double-stack 45 auto pistol for serious home defense. We all know the 45 ACP is a heavier-hitting round than any 9mm load. The FNX 45 Tactical boasts a 15+1 capacity, which is unusual for a 45 pistol. The polymer frame reduces overall weight to around 33 ounces, a bit heavier than typical 9mm service pistols, but it still balances nicely for rapid fire. MSRP runs around $1,379, putting it near the middle of this list price spectrum. This design originally came from FN's attempts to meet a military requirement, so it arrives with features like a threaded 5.3-inch barrel that can handle suppressors, an optics-ready slide, and ambidextrous controls. It's bigger than the Echelon or Legion, yet still user-friendly if you're okay with a full-size frame. The DASA trigger requires a bit of practice, especially if you're switching from striker-fired pistols, but it can be rewarding for those who like a second strike capability. The front-end weight helps with muzzle control, and the recoil is tamer than some might expect for a high-capacity 45. Anyone who wants more power than a 9mm can find a good balance here, though it's not as strong as the 10mm option from FN. In a head-to-head with that 10mm, the FNX 45 Tactical might shoot softer, but carries a different appeal for traditional 45 lovers. FN 510 Tactical. Just 3 years ago, FN moved beyond 9mm and 45 by offering the 510 Tactical, which packs the 10mm cartridge into a full-size striker-fired format. It arrives with a flush 15-round magazine and a 22-round extended option, giving it an edge in raw firepower. Its $899 price tag isn't too steep compared to other guns in this power range, making it surprisingly accessible for a 10mm that checks a lot of tactical boxes. The 4.71-inch barrel is threaded for suppressors or compensators, which can be useful for recoil management. Some folks compare its muzzle energy to heavier loads in 45, but 10mm often penetrates deeper, which can be a factor if you live somewhere that might see more robust threats. The pistol's architecture resembles the FN 509 Tactical, adding enough mass for stability while staying manageable in weight. People who don't mind a bit more recoil than 9mm may find the 510 Tactical feels snappier, but the design aims to control that impulse better than many older 10mm guns. It includes standard tritium night sights and a durable system for mounting optics. The ambidextrous controls are fully integrated for left or right-handed operation, matching what FN did with the 509 series. This approach sets it apart from the 45 ACP FNX 45, which is again a DASA pistol, while the 510 is a striker-fired. Either can handle bigger calibers, But the 510's capacity and modern controls may attract people who want maximum kinetic energy with fewer reloads. This model can be a solid choice if you prefer the extra punch of a 10mm and want a straightforward, optics-ready platform. Mossberg SA-20 Tactical. Many shotgun owners prefer the 12-gauge, but the Mossberg SA-20 Tactical delivers a different kind of package. It's around $654, so the upfront cost is much less intimidating compared to big-name 12-gauge options. The semi-auto 20-gauge scattergun allows for easier handling while having more than enough punch to stop threats at home defense distances. The 20-inch cylinder bore barrel is set up for short to medium range scenarios, with a ghost ring rear sight and a fiber optic front that helps in varied lighting. If that's not enough, a short rail can fit a red dot for faster target focus. Some might want to dismiss a 20-gauge for defense, but this platform can be easier to handle for shooters who dislike the heavier recoil of a 12-gauge. It's also fairly light, weighing a bit over 6 pounds. Recoil is soft enough to allow quick follow-up shots, which can be crucial in stressful encounters. Capacity is 5 in the tube plus 1 in the chamber, and you can add an extension if you want more. It won't match the raw force of something like the Benelli M4 in 12-gauge, but it's often enough for common threats inside a house. The SA-20's gas-operated system and user-friendly controls make it a good pick for those who prefer a semi-automatic shotgun without paying premium prices. It's not as legendary as the Benelli M4, but it's less punishing on the shoulder and keeps the price more manageable. Anyone who needs a simpler-to-control shotgun might appreciate this design, especially if they're focusing on close-quarter situations or smaller-statured shooters. Benelli M4. Purists swear by the Benelli M4, and really, they're not wrong. In my opinion, it reigns supreme among semi-automatic shotguns, and the Marine Corps decided to adopt it for good reason. It's a 12-gauge with an 18.5-inch barrel, feeding from a 5+1 or 7+1 tubular magazine, and usually cost around $2,099. Its Argo gas system is designed to handle a variety of loads without jamming, and it's proven itself in demanding conditions. That track record makes it a top pick when you want a shotgun that just won't quit. This model is heavier than the Mossberg SA-20 and hits harder because it's chambered in 12-gauge. The recoil is well managed, thanks in part to the gas system and the way the shotgun's balance is set. Many owners find it cycles buckshot and slugs without issues, though many shells and some less lethal rounds aren't recommended. Ghost ring sights help you stay on target for close encounters or farther slug shots. The top rail provides a mounting point for optics. Benelli's attention to detail extends to the controls, which are easy enough to learn, but not as large or obvious as some might wish. The crossbolt safety and cartridge drop lever work well once you're used to them. Fast reloads become second nature with a bit of training, though the M4's smaller bolt release can slow you down at first. Despite that minor quirk, it typically remains the final word in semi-automatic shotgun reliability, which is why many consider it worth every penny if you can afford it. Franklin Armory Reformation RS7. And finally, let's talk about this unique short-barreled AR-15. Back in 2018, Franklin Armory dropped the Reformation, an AR-style gun that didn't fit the usual rifle or shotgun rules. Thanks to its unique barrel design that featured a patented straight-cut land and groove rifling system, it dodged NFA restrictions and didn't need a tax stamp. The ATF tried to shut it down in 2019, calling it a short-barrel shotgun, which it isn't. So Franklin Armory filed a lawsuit and unsurprisingly won. The Reformation is now back and legal to own in most states as the Reformation RS7, which is just a standard firearm. It takes advantage of its unusual rifling system design, offering a short 7.5-inch barrel on an AR-style platform without the $200 tax stamp you would need for an SBR. For home defense, that small form factor can be a huge advantage if you need to move through hallways or around corners. It's also offered with a binary firing system, which can increase fire rate by sending a round when you pull the trigger and another when you release. That feature costs more ammo, but it might be worth it for people who want a higher volume of fire. The RS7 is available in 5.56 NATO or 300 Blackout, both known for solid performance in close-quarter settings. The pistol length system is built around a forged aluminum receiver set with an M-lock handguard and a B5 stock. It operates as a firearm under the Gun Control Act instead of a rifle or shotgun, so no NFA stamp is involved in most places. The short overall length is obviously appealing for close-range defense or if you like having a lot of maneuverability. Some states still have restrictions, so it's not universal, but it is a game changer if legal in your area. The price hovers around $1,099.99 for the standard trigger or $1,179.99 for the binary version. That's more affordable than the Benelli M4 or the Staccato P4.5, and it delivers a unique niche of high-speed semi-auto fire in a compact AR package. Anyone set on using a rifle caliber platform for home defense but wanting minimal fuss with federal paperwork might take a closer look at the Reformation RS7. And that's it for this video. We've covered everything from budget-friendly 9mm to full-size 45s, hard-hitting 10mm, and shotguns in both 12 and 20 gauge. So which model caught your eye? Got any better firearm suggestions? Sound off in the comments. And while you're down there, please hit like if you learned something new, share this video with buds, and don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss a future breakdown. Thanks for watching.